Happy Monday, everybody. It's Jim, it's Amadeus, and we're here. And outstanding weekend of sports. There's a lot of tennis in France on play at Roland Garros. There was Scotty Scheffler just tearing up the course at the Memorial, and a lot of college baseball as they move toward the World Series this week. So Amadeus, all kinds of fun stuff over the weekend.
Yeah, definitely. Scotty Scheffler was a big one, and just like Rory won that tournament going into the PGA Championship, now Scheffler's heating up into the U.S. Open this weekend, so definitely a lot of hype around him. We'll see if he can carry it over into there. If you followed the Roland Garros, my guy Sasha, disappointed. He came close. It was a good solid 5 sets. He was up, he was down 1, then he was up 2-1, and then just ran out of gas there. But good to Alcaraz. And my bad, I think we misspoke on Friday. It was actually Swiatek in the women's final, and she went ahead and won. So good on Iga as well. The Barty retired. She's been the new Barty. She's been the woman to beat. So nobody can beat Iga Swiatek. She's definitely the best women's tennis player on the planet right now.
I'll tell you what, every time the ball went on her side of the court, it came back. So it's like you got to sit there and go, what is she ever going to miss? I mean, no, she doesn't.
And clay's her surface too, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's from Poland. So I know they play, like same with Djokovic out there in Serbia and stuff. They play in a lot of clay courts out there. So
yeah, it's either that or, as Djokovic once said, it's the concrete parking lots. So you either play on one or the other. I think he jokingly, I think he got some people mad in Serbia saying, when they asked him if he ever played on grass, he goes, we don't have grass in Serbia. Which, I guess if you're a joker, you can get away with it. But, anybody else? Not so much. All right. On Friday, we talked about Danny Hurley, the head basketball coach at the University of Connecticut. And if you are a UConn fan, or if you missed, our conversations, we said it was probably going to be something that he would think long and hard about. And if you're a UConn supporter, you should be happy this morning because Dan Hurley's still your head coach. He's not in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he turned down the Lakers, and at some point, it's kind of funny just because the Lakers head coaching position, obviously the prestige of the Lakers in the NBA, it used to be a sought out job for many head coaches. There would be the coaches would be lined up to take that job, and now it's like
can't give it away.
Yeah, nobody wants to go near that team with a 10-foot pole, and one of the best in college basketball right now turns down a massive contract. And I believe you said, he didn't even fly out to LA. So, that's definitely telling on how deep into the conversation they got. That didn't even last as long as really the JJ Redick situation feels like.
Well, I think if you put down, what are your terms? What's it going to take to get you here? And you say, I want an opportunity to talk to, the team. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to get the team entirely, put together and go to the Staples Center. But you can get a few at the Staples Center and some on the phone. And it never got to that point. So, I think Dan said, well, what the hell? What's the sense of getting on a plane, flying to Los Angeles, and then turning right around and coming back? So they never got that far. And so if you have JJ Redick in the Laker coaching pool, you're still alive. He's not in a knockout round. I don't know that I ever thought that I would see a day when that the Clippers job would be more attractive.
Yeah, and especially now more than ever because they got the new stadium and
Right.
they're moving that whole brand in another direction. They want to
Yep.
be their own. So yeah, I mean, I believe they just extended Tyronn Lue, but
Yeah.
100%. If you were giving guys the choice, they would probably lean to the Clippers just because it's less of a hassle right now, right? At least
Well, the
at the
owner stays
Clippers.
out of everything. You
Yeah,
know,
with the superstars, you know what you're getting, right? It's like, okay, Kawhi's going to play half the games, and then you just have to deal with that.
right, right. So there's that. So the Clippers, yeah, that's amazing. And they are getting that new building is going to be awesome. That is
Yeah.
absolutely awesome.
I still think
So
they ripped off the Mariners logo a little bit, but
yeah, that's true.
just a
They
tad.
they had when they were in San Diego, they actually had a Clipper ship on the jerseys, and that you're going way back for them to do that. But yeah, it's the Clippers have decided, you know what, we want to get out of the shadow of the Lakers. So we got now an owner who built an incredibly gorgeous arena out there, and so we'll see. I mean, it's going to be that situation. Hurley will enjoy his life back in college, and you know, all seems to be right with the world. That and Scotty Scheffler's got to be the favorite coming into this week's U.S. Open.
Yeah, and if you're Hurley going back to UConn, like, look,
Mm-hmm.
it's he had. We talked a bit about this last week. He has a chance to be the next Coach K or
Mm-hmm.
whoever it might be. He can be the next. I think he's already a legend with what he's done the last 2 years, and the consistency he produces at UConn over the years. But yeah, 100%. They have the chance to be the next college dynasty if you want to call it that. But absolutely. So I'm excited to see what he does in this next year because, even though it's going to be hard to top the season they just had or even the last 2 seasons they just had, it's going to be a bigger challenge because he's just going to continue to lose guys to the NBA. And I guess that'll be his challenge moving forward, keeping the consistency of the team.
Yep. Now this week, with regard to, we were just talking about the U.S. Open. It's going to be played at a place that has seen a lot of golf. It's Pinehurst, um, and they're playing on the number 2 course at Pinehurst. And I think the best way to really describe Pinehurst for those of you who, I mean, North Carolina is a very hilly state, and Pinehurst has the hills. But if you had to really pin down what makes Pinehurst difficult, it would have to be the greens. I mean, they are so wickedly fast, and man, you can just. I've seen guys on a 7 or 8 foot putt literally off the green because they just didn't quite figure out how quick the greens are. So what we'll do for tomorrow, as we get closer, we'll run a video, give you an idea of what Pinehurst looks like. But Pinehurst number 2 is where the U.S. Open's going to be. It's been there a number of times, and we'll see how it plays out. But it's one of those courses that you better know. You better be a good putter because I'll tell you, it's tough. It's also tough to keep the ball on the green. So there's going to be anybody who can play with who's got good iron play is going to do well at Pinehurst. So we'll see how it plays out, but it's going to be fun. There's no question about that. To be sure.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. They always pick a course that tries to murder the golfers out there.
Oh yeah.
US Open.
And you're absolutely right. I mean, they do not they show no mercy when it comes to that. No question about it.
Yeah, no, they take the attitude of you get the other 3 majors if you want to see a nice course. Go watch the Masters, all right? You're gonna watch them play in the trenches this week. It is gonna be a tough course to play.
It is. It's going to be a tough course, and you're right. I mean, the Masters is the one place where each year is the same thing. That is not the case when you're playing in the U.S. Open. They try to torture you, and more often than not, they do. But we shall see what we shall see. Uh, you know, otherwise, we have a situation where Caitlin Clark didn't make the U.S. Olympic team, and there's been a lot of talk about Caitlin Clark. Um, let me just put it this way: the it's WNBA specifically. They have Caitlin Clark played a really good college. There's no reason to believe that Caitlin Clark is not going to be, a bona fide superstar. But think about this: she's played an entire season of college basketball. She got drafted and started playing immediately in the WNBA. There's a learning curve that has to come into that. I think what USA Basketball is just saying is, you know what? Caitlin Clark will be on a number of these teams in years to come. But right now, the only reason we would put her on this team, not because she's not good, but is because she just doesn't have the basketball professional seasoning that you're going to have when you're playing against some phenomenal women's basketball teams. So I think the reason that she didn't make it is because they felt, she just hasn't had enough seasoning from playing in a pro set to do, would it be, they'd basically be putting her on the team to raise the ratings of the team from a standpoint of more people would watch the games because Caitlin Clark would play. She may not be able to hold her own in an international competition yet. So I'm not upset that they didn't. I'm not. I don't think it's a bad thing that Caitlin Clark didn't make the team.
Yeah, I don't really have much of a take on this. I mean, if she made it, great. Obviously, she didn't, so it's understandable. It is a very quick turnaround. They give the women no break after college, but you know, just to counterpoint, Brianna Stewart made the 2016 Olympic team right out of college. So
Right.
look, I viewed it as it was an opportunity to grow the game, as you put it, with ratings wise, right? And you drew people from other countries as well that weren't really watching the WNBA
Right.
to get a chance to see her in Paris. And I don't think so. If I had to pick, I think she should be on the team. I don't think just her though. I think they should have put Angel Reese and some of these other, maybe just two or three. Bring some rookies, let them get that international experience, because it is that is valued for sure.
Sure.
And then you also bringing some ratings up for the team. Like, let's be honest, we know they're going to win the gold medal regardless, so it doesn't really matter. And even if you threw two or three rookies on the team, they probably weren't going to get much playing time anyway. So it's a bit of a rest anyway. It would have been a good experience. So if I had to have a take, that would be my take. I think they should have had her and Angel Reese, and maybe pick a third player who's been exciting this year as well, and that should be on the team. But like I said, I'm not gonna put my arms up in the air over this, because I do understand the where they come from, where it's a very quick turnaround.
Well, so far she's played 12 games in the WNBA. She's averaging 16.8 points a game, 5.3 rebounds, 6.3 assists, and 1.5 steals. Okay, so the Olympic snub, if you want to call it a snub. She's also, it's one of the most competitive sports that women play. And, I'm like you. I would have liked to have seen her on the team, but I understand why she didn't get there. And just to those of you out there, these mansplainers who try to pick on stuff and going, are Caitlin Clark haters or Caitlin Clark promoters, one of the two. I hear a lot of this. I hear a lot of, well, it might be a racial thing. Well, I'm old enough to know the Larry Bird routine, right? When Bird and Magic came into the league. And that was like, well, it's a racial thing. Well, no, it wasn't a racial thing. Not at all. It was Larry Bird played basketball. Okay. Magic Johnson played basketball. They both played very, very well. One was a white guy, one was a black guy. Okay. So was it racial? No, it wasn't racial at all. It was Larry could play and hang with the rest of the basketball players in the sport at the time. That was case closed. But that wasn't just Larry Bird that could do it. It was Kevin McHale that could do it. It was Danny Ainge that could do it. It was, a number of players at that time. Then you get she's a rookie. So as rookies go, she's being mistreated. I can tell you for a fact, having done Michael Jordan's first couple of seasons in the NBA, every time he came into Detroit, his rear end was on the court more often than his standing up because the bad boys beat the living hell out of him. So, I mean, it's not, you've got to take the NBA and the WNBA and equate them together. And you'll see that Caitlin Clark is no different than I don't care who they are coming into the league. The veteran players are going to make you pay, and let you know, okay, kid, you're good, but you're going to have to be better than good because we're not going to just sit here and let you, play and make us look foolish.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why I say, look, it would have been nice to have, don't just bring her, bring 2 or 3. Because I did see one comment I thought raised a good point. They pointed out how they're probably going to win the gold, and most of the games are going to be blowouts. Make it a little more enticing to watch a blowout. You know what? You're up 80-40. Put all 3 of the rookies in and let them have some fun, right? So what if they play bad? The other team comes back 20 points, and you still win by 50. That was the point there, right? You want to see it help grow the game, but so that would have been. Look, I'm always for growing the sport, so I look at it as a missed opportunity to grow the sport, especially worldwide, because people in France, where they just got Wembanyama from in the last NBA draft, it's big over there in Spain and France and places like that. So I'm sure people would have loved to go see those women in person as well. So just a missed opportunity is really what I think it was.
Well, I have a friend who lives in London, and I asked him, his daughter her birthday was coming up, and I asked him what his daughter wanted for her birthday, and it was a Caitlin Clark jersey. Now, this is a young woman who has never been to the United States, has never watched an Iowa basketball game in person, has never seen a WNBA game in person. And she wants Caitlin Clark's jersey, which, by the way, was on sale, with NBA jerseys in the sporting goods store down the street from, their place in London. So, to your point, the world knows Caitlin Clark. The world would know Caitlin Clark better, as you say, if she played.
Yeah, exactly, right? And the NBA, here's another example. The NBA goes out of their way to try and schedule these games in China and things like that, right? And we see it with every league, the NFL and stuff like that. This was like a free multiple games in France, and you blew an opportunity there. That's the way I look at it. Is you were getting basically free publicity on games in France, and you dropped the ball. And like I said, it's not just Caitlin Clark. Send a whole starting lineup. Send 5 of them. The team's going to destroy everybody anyway. So send them all, or send 5 at least. Sorry, and like I said, when you're up by 50, you just put them out there.
All right, if we played that route, which is I think a good thing to do. All right, you say, okay, let's take 5. We'll take 9 of the best WNBA players. Okay, we'll take Caitlin Clark, and we'll take. I'm sorry, who else you were talking about?
Angel Reese was.
Angel Reese, right? Take those two, and there's a couple of amazing college players that they could take too. And so you not only grow the WNBA, but you grow women's college basketball. Because again, much like is the case in hockey, a lot of extremely talented young women come to the United States and are recruited to play here. So, again, the basketball world would be, you could be expanding it. So, yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
and that's actually a great idea because you could have went with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink because they have a lot of
oh, yeah,
experience, and then as you said, go to college, take Juju Watkins.
that
People
was
would have loved to
exactly,
see that.
yeah. And I think that the players would like to play with these people.
Exactly, and maybe it's unfair advantage to Juju because she gets some professional experience still
Right.
at the college level, so might help her. But hey, that's valuable experience. She's going to go to the WNBA regardless, so that's valuable, career experience you can gain before even getting there.
Well, we didn't ever, we never sent, we meaning the United States, never sent a professional basketball team until the 90s to the Olympics. It was always college kids that played in the Olympics that represented us. So, the joke used to be, well, every time the United States goes, they play against professional teams. Well, then we just started sending the professional teams, and what happened is exactly what David Stern said would happen, or wanted to happen, and that was he grew the sport to the point where players from other parts of the world would want to come and play basketball in the NBA. And for all intents and purposes, what he said is he wanted to create the Premier League of soccer in basketball, and that's what he got accomplished.
Yeah, and you can see it today, right? Like obviously, we know Giannis is going to be playing for Greece.
Sure.
Luka's going to be playing for Slovenia, Jokic for Serbia. So absolutely, you're going to get these stars that came from those other countries, right? They came over to the NBA. They're stars here. They run their teams basically, but they've also grown the sport in those countries now as well.
And you can recruit if you wanted to. If you're a college, you can go out and find somebody and bring them there and see if they want to play in the United States. And so, yeah, one way or another, it's a benefit. The risk versus reward is good. But my only point is, I do understand why. On one hand, they might choose not to. But if you've won the last 9 Olympics, with the basketball teams that you've got, I really don't think that you're going to lose a lot if you went the route of taking a few rookies and a couple of college players. But
yeah, and that's the thing I think that pisses people off, right? It's like it's how dominant the team is. Like you can afford to bring 3 or 4 rookies, right? Because that's why people are watching the WNBA this year, right? Like yes, a lot of it's Caitlin Clark, but it's the whole rookie class. Like I know a lot of people are making fun of Angel Reese because she said, they're here to watch me too. But she's kind of right. Look, even though she's not selling out the building, they're still filling up half that building, which is more than what they were doing before. So you can say what you want, but overall, the sport has grown and it'll continue to do so. So again, missed opportunity there.
Well, you've got an Angel Reese, a sort of a, not at the highest, not at the level, but you're definitely close. The level of the Larry Magic situation, right? So they don't play each other as much, but you've got those opportunities where you get to see them play against each other, and you can measure them against each other. And so yeah, I think that that would be cool to do it, and we'll have to see how things play out. But yeah, it's a missed opportunity, and I think they would have watched, had a wonderful situation in Paris from that standpoint. So we'll see how it plays out. But anyway, Caitlin Clark will be fine. She'll be hanging out back here watching the games on television with the rest of us. So, There you go. Or probably doing something to make money because she has that off time. So more commercials and other things that can be done. So,
Pretty much.
yeah, exactly. Not like we're gonna have to worry about what's gonna happen next for her. So there you go in that regard. Um, some outstanding college baseball games this weekend. They did the super regionals, which then leads to the teams going into the World Series, and some outstanding baseball played. It's kind of fun to watch some college ball, especially when you hit that ping of the bat, right, with the aluminum bat. Uh, I, how'd you like to have an aluminum a guy? Think of like Shohei Ohtani or Judge hitting one of those line drives, those 103-mile-an-hour, balls that they whack coming at you, coming off of an aluminum bat. That'd be like 250 miles an hour. So
I actually saw a video the other day of Vladdy hitting balls at the Rogers Center with an aluminum bat. Every single one was a
oh
home
my
run.
God,
Like literally every single one was a home run.
that would be. I know that back when he was before he got drafted, Bryce Harper was in a home run contest, and the game was being played at um, the Trop down in Tampa, and Bryce hit one, and he did something no one had ever done. Now, obviously, because the aluminum bat, propels the ball, he hit it, and he hit the back of the concrete wall. So that's clearing all of the stands and hitting the concrete wall, and the ball bounced off that concrete wall back onto the field. And somebody jokingly said it sounded like and it did whenever they showed the audio. When he hit it, it sounded like a rifle shot had just, been done, because it was a ping, and it was coming off that wall. It's like, crazy. The ball looked like it was lopsided when it landed on the field. So
Yeah, he probably broke it.
yeah, busted, broke the ball, broke the bat.
Yeah, definitely would have been out of the park if it could leave the Trop.
Yep. So yeah, it'd have been in the ocean somewhere over in the Gulf of Mexico. But yeah, I mean, there's been some good games being played, and all week long we'll get ready to have the College World Series out in Omaha, Nebraska, and it'll be good on them. Kudos to the University of Tampa, who won Division II, their 9th World Series championship. Finishing the season, they played 60 games. They were 60, in the 60 games, they were 52-8. So that's a pretty dominant season for the Spartans, who beat Angelo State from Texas, and they tied USF. I'm sorry, the University of Tampa and Florida Southern are tied for the most championships won. They're 30 miles away from each other, playing in the same conference, so it's kind of like the SEC of football. Whoever wins the series between Florida Southern and Tampa usually end up in the College World Series. So kudos to them. Like I said, this week we've got there's a lot of auto racing this weekend, and up in your neck of the woods, they had the Canadian Grand Prix.
Did they? I didn't even see. I don't follow the auto racing too much, but I know somebody who does.
Yeah, there's a guy that we mention from time to time that enjoys having auto racing, and Team Red Bull. It's not a bad thing here. I'm just looking up real quick just to make sure I'm right. Whether it's this week or maybe it's not. Let's see. Hold on. Let me take a quick look. Of course, there would be accept the cookies page, or we won't let you go any further. Problem is that you can't get to the accept the cookies page. Okay. Yes, we'll accept it. Okay. Here we go. The 2024 results, and yeah, June 9th. Yesterday, the Grand Prix of Canada. Here's a big, stunning surprise. Max Verstappen, uh, running in the Red Bull racing team, won the race. So there you go. Red Bull and Max Verstappen took the race at in Canada. So good for him. Yeah, what a shock. This
Isn't he
was
the one that wins every race?
well, he used to. There's been some other. You had Carlos Sainz earlier in the season, won Australia in Ferrari. Verstappen then went back to back in Japan and China. In Miami, it was Lando Norris with the Mercedes McLaren. Then his, Verstappen won in Italy. Then in Monaco, it was Leclerc in Ferrari, and then yesterday it was Verstappen winning in Canada. So
Every other one.
he runs every other race.
Okay, so don't take him next. So this would be the next race. This would be the time to fade him.
Yes, fade him now. Fade him now because
grab someone with some good value. They'll win the next race, and then hop back on for stopping for the next one after.
Absolutely, don't. It's be careful. It's yeah. I wonder if we get Verstappen versus the field.
That 100%. That's got to be a thing for sure.
That's got to be a thing. I mean, come on.
Let me check. Let me check on that.
Okay.
Well, it's only a -200 for the Spanish Grand Prix.
Oh, okay.
Which is interesting, but I think he's usually -200.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. There right now is approximately 100 drivers entered in this year's 24-hour of Le Mans race, which is coming up very soon. There's 62 cars, 10 teams that will be running Le Mans this year.
Surprisingly, you cannot bet on Verstappen or the field, but for the Formula One Drivers' Championship, they do give you the option to pick a winner without Verstappen. So you exclude him, and because obviously, he's probably going to win if he wins every other race. But yeah, you have the option to basically bet on who's going to come in second. It's who will win without Verstappen. So you take him out, and then whoever wins of the field.
Well, there you go. So it'll be this weekend on Saturday, the 24 hours of Le Mans race, and we'll see how that turns out. Going to be a lot of different cars in there, and Ferrari, of course, is back in the race business. Cadillac has been Cadillac and Lexus have done quite well, so we will see how that plays out. We'll get as we get closer to that. So anyway, all kinds of fun stuff coming up here. I did see where there's a couple of different situations bubbling on the horizon from tennis about Wimbledon, and we'll see who's going to play, who's not going to play, who's hurt and can't play. There's a lot of moving parts on what's going to happen this year at Wimbledon, which is a few weeks away. So we'll keep an eye on that one. So I don't know. That's we got a whole bunch of stuff coming up this week, and I guess the biggest stuff coming up this week is the Euros, right?
Yeah, we got the Euro Cup on Friday, so that's going to
Mhm.
be lovely. Kicks us off with good old Scotland and Germany.
And your boy from Scotland who played at Manchester United.
Yes, Scott McTominay. We'll see what he dials up for the good old Scotland on Friday. I have some good feelings about this match.
The wee Scots. The wee Scots are got to take this one, so we'll see. All right, boys and girls, we've having a good time, but you have an even better time if you go to our links below and click on Amadeus and stuff because he's going to have some fun stuff for you.
Yeah, make sure you check out my premium picks at bigal.com, pickadvisor.com, and theinsidersroom.com. The links are in the description below. Today, all I really got is some Africa World Cup qualifiers that you can grab. They're starting soon at 3 o'clock. And I also have one MLB play for the night. I'm on a 9-3 MLB run right now. But yeah, there's not a ton of action on the pitch this week, really just Africa World Cup qualifiers up until the Euro Cup this Friday. So just gear it up into that, really.
There you go, boys and girls. All right, we'll be back tomorrow and have all kinds of fun stuff to chat about. Until then, for Amadeus, I'm Jim. Take care, everybody.